Very well. Let this abomination unto the Lord begin.
Gotta get loose.
What do you mean loose. Do the open? We don't have an open.
Yeah,
it's just always awkwardly you being like,
okay. See, if I wasn't the one, someone else. But how did you do it last week?
Oh fuck, if I remember.
Oh, okay. We did there you go. Exactly. Welcome to the Planet Express Delivery Podcast. This is David.
Hey, this is James.
Suds here.
And we have a new guest.
Yeah,
a completely new guest. Someone we've never had on. I'm putting a lot of weight on your shoulders now.
I hear that.
Are you okay with that?
It's getting nervous now.
All
I don't know.
All right. I will let the official person introduce because he gets pissed when I do it. So, go ahead, buddy.
This is the worst. One of our very good friends, Feaster, is joining us. Fucking finally. We've been wanting you to be on for a long time, but he's here.
Yeah. We've always just been too drunk to remember to invite you on the show.
No, I've been in talks with Feaster. We had to work out his contract, We were negotiating a little
Scheduling issues.
You figure out how much he owes us for being on the show.
Mm-hmm. We're getting his name out there. I understand.
Feaster, what is your history with Futurama? Like,
it's kind of weird. Because I've binged the Fox run of it.
So, like, the first 5 seasons?
Yeah, like 2 or 3 times, actually. But I couldn't remember a single episode. Well, there's 2 episodes I can remember. And that's the Snoo episode.
Yeah.
And, crap. What's the other one?
So there's one episode.
Yeah, there's one episode I can remember, yes.
After watching it 3 times through.
Which is weird, because it's the same thing that I have with The Simpsons, which is I enjoy the shows. I think they're funny. But for some reason, I'm never like, I really want to watch that.
Is it like something more like in the background, or?
Well, yeah, like watching it to fall asleep.
Sure.
Because I don't have anything else going on.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we've talked about before,
nothing else going on at all.
The Futurama sleepers.
Yeah, we talked about that. Yeah, there's a subreddit on Reddit called Futurama Sleepers where everyone is like, it's the same. Like I watched Futurama for years falling asleep. Like I guess like a lot of fucking people do that.
This is why you only have vague memories of like everything we've talked about on this show.
That's true. Yeah. And I do feel bad sometimes because like you and Dave won't even watch. Well, before we started watching it, together before we were recording. Yeah. Well, you guys won't watch the episode and show up and know more than I feel like I know, and I just watched it. But yeah, it's probably just because I was falling asleep every time I watched it.
And there was the one, and I think it was a dog, and Fry was sad, and Bender was a magician.
Nobody forgets that episode.
Apparently you did, buddy.
But should we introduce this episode?
Yes, this episode is the 3rd or 4th episode into the 7th season.
Yeah, Proposition Infinity. And Dave, you weren't here last time.
No, I was not.
But we improv'd the synopsis.
I don't remember doing that.
Of course you don't.
You improv'd the synopsis.
Yeah.
I missed out on a hell of a good time.
Oh, no, I do remember that. You did it. It was pretty good, actually.
Should we just keep going with that? Because I did not write anything down.
Yeah. All right, yeah, rock out, man.
Do it.
Oh, okay, so... Amy and Bender end up in a sordid affair when Kif dumps her for only being attracted to bad boys. But because robosexual marriage is illegal and, I don't know, verboten? Is that a good word to use?
Verboten.
Yeah, sure. If you want to throw a weird German word into
I was going to say, yeah, that is not, yeah.
All right, their love is rejected by the professor, who viciously opposes it. after they escape from the respective brainwashing areas that they end up in.
Do you want to actually go? I don't feel like either of those things were a valid attempt at brainwashing for any.
I mean, just because they weren't effective doesn't mean they're not valid.
Okay, all right. I'll let you have it. Just Swen is killing me, man.
Well, he's mad because Elise is sitting in his chair, but...
Yeah, this is a constant distraction, by the way.
Yeah, we used to have crackheads on this podcast, and now it's a cat. So wrapping this up, they start a campaign for Proposition Infinity to legalize robosexual marriage.
Yes.
All right, I think I'm gonna...
I have been drinking.
I need to drink more, I feel.
All right, well then I'll start the conversation here. All right, there's a lot going on in this episode. And I already pointed out to Suds a little earlier that I'm pretty sure this has to do with the legalization of gay marriage in New York, obviously.
Well, yeah, sure, it's their take on it. But, before we even get to that, I want to ask, why is Bender all of a sudden so, into this graffiti art stuff?
No, that wasn't what I was going to ask.
But he's just, plastering tiles that depict his face, essentially. First of all, people are confused about who's doing this. No. I don't think so. Also, I mean, when did Bender become, Banksy or something?
That's what I was going to say. It's a Banksy knockoff thing. But
yeah.
Banksy doesn't do the tile art. He just does, spray painted, cutout styles.
Yeah, he uses the stencils.
Yeah, stencil.
Right. But we never find out, why Bender's so into graffiti all of a sudden.
This is just an open segue to the actual plot of the story.
Yeah, we need an excuse for him to get locked up.
To get put in the slammer.
Okay.
And that seems like a pretty innocent crime to use for a cartoon show. So he's not, committing a rash of arsons. It's,
Which he has done and didn't wind up in prison for that, I don't believe.
We need to not hate
things,
Bender at the onset of this episode.
I mean, to be fair, the reason that he was put in prison was because he graffitied Earl's ass.
Well, it did kind of class
he
up the joint.
assaulted a police officer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, all right. So that's not what I was going to ask. That's a good question.
Okay, well, what was your question?
See, I lost it now. So somebody else start talking so I can think about what it was.
We're never going to get back to that question.
Yeah, it's gone.
Well, the way that they find out about the graffiti art is the chopper crash? The newscopter. Yeah.
One of my, this is right in the area of one of my favorite jokes on this episode.
What does he say? I just found out that my last words.
Back to you, Linda.
Yeah.
But no, it's Morbo's line. I hated Jim!
Yeah.
Well, it kills me every time.
Linda? That's her name? I always forget.
No, I keep wanting to call her Kelly for some reason.
It's not Kelly.
It's Linda.
It is Linda, but Kelly, is it Kelly Ripa has the television show in the mornings?
Yeah, she took over for Kathy Lee.
Yeah, that's right.
It's sad that I know that.
No. I still remember Regis.
It's sad that any of that happened in the first place. But she could not be more I don't know, news person-y about the whole thing. Nothing phased her, just well, that's one for the blooper reel.
Just keep reading the prompter.
But this brings us to the prison where Bender is being detained. And we get another shot of Roberto in this episode.
Well, we get a lot going on here. Now, prior to this happening, we have Kif and Amy arguing.
Yeah.
Which kind of is... they started with Bender vandalizing stuff, or not even vandalizing, just doing street art. And then we have a clip of Amy and Kif watching the news, is where the whole helicopter part came in. I hated Jim. I'm sorry. But that kind of pushes us forward. I have some questions. Why do they have a smellophone?
Oh, yeah. Well, they do the Bender's ringtone, which is just a belch. But why can you also smell that? And it's not like...
She was like, I know because of the smell.
Yeah.
But it's not animated in any way. It's just through dialogue. I can tell by the smell. Like, why was that necessary?
Have they talked about, has this been a technological advance that they want to do? You should be able to smell your phone when it rings?
Well, they made the smelloscope, so it would be... Apparently in this universe it is feasible to have smells transmit that way. But I don't know.
I kind of think they were just going for a bad joke. Like,
yeah.
Like, they were just...
Oh, there's plenty of bad jokes in this. Oh, no, I remembered what my question was, and it has to do with the overarching story in this. Do you guys remember the episode with Lucy Liu?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, vaguely.
This is a throwback.
Sven, stay away from that whiskey.
Jesus. This is a throwback to that episode where Fry starts dating a Lucy Liu robot. And they have a whole, ordeal about, oh, he hasn't seen the after-school special. And I have lots of questions about actually dating a robot. Technically...
Like, how awesome is it?
Yeah, Dave's jealous.
He's like,
give me this future. I want to be there.
Well, it wasn't the whole thing. She was, programmed to be, perfect.
Yeah,
she absolutely loved him.
He
could do no wrong.
Unconditional.
Yeah.
And the way they kept putting it is, if you never had to go out and, put an effort forth with making a relationship, you would never do anything. And I was like, I don't feel like that's a bad thing at all.
You would just settle in.
I would be, like a tick. I would be set.
Can I just add a comment here? I'm mad at our guest Feaster because he just remembered a different episode, and I feel like he misled us early on by saying he didn't remember any other episode.
Well, no, that was the second one.
Yes.
Oh, that was the second one? Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, that's how my memory works. Is I don't remember anything until you spark it, and then I'm like, oh, yeah.
I gave him a synopsis. He's like me. I gave him a synopsis for the actual episode.
So by the end of this podcast, we will have revisited the entire Futurama catalog.
And that's what we do. Now, my other question is, okay, so Amy is basically dating her dildo in this. That is the only conclusion I came to.
I'm glad I'm not the only person who did that. Immediately I was like, wait a minute. Is this a metaphor here? What did they...
I did not think of that.
I did not think that either.
Yeah, Zoidberg brings it up as well. When they do things like, Hermes goes, what two consenting adults do in the dark, it doesn't matter. And Zoidberg goes, maybe one, too.
Oh, yeah, I just thought that meant, Zoidberg doesn't have anybody and he's jerking off by himself all the
He's
time.
sad and lonely.
Yeah.
Also, he's a giant crab. He doesn't masturbate.
He has, bladder-filled areas that do things. And
Yeah, okay.
I'm still wondering how Kif and Amy do the nasty.
In the pasty.
Yeah, no, not in the pasty. They have done the nasty in the pasty.
Well, not them specifically.
This is going to be a very sexually frustrated episode. Yep.
All right, everybody get naked.
Not going to happen.
Well, can we talk about the what was it, the circusitis?
Oh, fucking Hermes. Yeah, that actually killed me. That was fucking hilarious.
That was a fantastic little bit. I thought that was great.
The way they kept jumping back and forth to Hermes and what was going on with Bender and Amy, it was like, all right, so maybe they're trying to... We don't see it at all after that. After we see the initial, him's transformation into Pennywise.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know. The scene kind of goes on for a while, and at the very end, they do cut back to him with his, giant feet.
He opens a bottle of pills.
And opens a bottle of pills.
Your reaction to that was actually pretty good. What the fuck?
I didn't remember that at all, but I thought it was really funny. It was just fucking out of nowhere, and, there was no point to that, whatever, just a throwaway joke, but I thought it was really fucking funny.
Sometimes their throwaway jokes are terrific. I always mention, like, whenever we get, like, in the background, a character is like, I get it! Those are, like, my favorite jokes of the episodes. Well, since we're floating around this whole thing, I wanted to actually mention to James, we get one of your favorite technological advances.
The tubes.
The tubes.
Oh, yeah.
Sex in the tubes.
I have so many problems with the tubes. Honestly, sex in the tubes is probably the best use of them I've seen so far.
What? It's like having sex in space. There's no friction. It wouldn't fucking work.
Well, I mean, how are they even having sex to begin with? I mean, what are they actually doing there?
Yeah, and it's weird because...
If you want to get into that, I mean...
Like, okay, so Bender's antenna is seen as, or used as this, like, phallic thing, and he actually, like, retracts his antenna when they're caught. But, like, you never see him using that with Amy, like...
Yeah. Is he just head to crotch, just, like, bumping into her over and over again?
And what is she getting out of that?
Not that is not a marvelous fucking visual. The only way I can think of it is it's like if you ever... I don't know what fucking movie it is. I know, it was on a television show where this one lady was like, oh, if you want to have fun, just sit on your dryer and set it to like a certain cycle.
Sure.
Oh, what movie was that? I know what you're talking about.
You know,
I know I've seen that too.
Just like the vibration is enough. I don't think that's the case because I'm going to throw to another episode since we're talking about future. There is an episode where Bender is taking a picture, or he's recording something, and he goes, camera 1, and they show one eye. Camera 2, they show another eye. He goes, camera 3, and all you hear is,
God.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
There's got to be something going on there.
I guess so. I mean...
But it's heavily implied in a lot of episodes that his antenna is his... whatever the robot equivalent of genitals is.
Yeah.
It's like,
Well, it's like the 4th episode of the first season.
Yeah, but then, like, later in Newtopia, when everyone becomes a sort of neutral gender, he loses his antenna. And that's, like, his equivalent of being neutered.
Yeah, it's brought up numerous times throughout the series. That is his genitalia to some degree.
Really want to see a robot with a robot penis?
I mean, yeah.
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 God.
You don't want to see that?
I have no need. I already brought up the fact that she is basically in a relationship with her dildo.
Bender has much more to offer than just a dildo, I feel like.
Yeah, it's like if a dildo could, like, cry and be mean to you, then that's Bender.
And drink beer and fucking crack shitty jokes.
Burp fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, you really want that in between your crotch.
Yeah, that's a good point, Jesus.
It's not any worse than, a robot headbutting you.
Yeah, valid point. Still...
No.
But...
I'm still confused. Like, you wouldn't care to see, like, an actual robot with, like, a functioning genitalia.
Okay, so... I'm going to bring this up because you haven't done the one thing that
What?
James and I want you to do.
Well, watch Blade Runner.
Yeah.
Okay.
If they looked...
Thought that was
I
going in
haven't
a
seen
whole
that yet
different
either,
direction.
So
You haven't seen the original?
I've seen the original.
Okay,
I haven't
alright.
seen.
I haven't seen the
new one
original.
yet.
He hasn't seen the original.
That's right.
Yeah.
And
We should
you
all
need to remedy that.
Give him hell for it. It's sitting. He has the
It's right there.
DVD right there, and I partially blame this one for it.
Well, here's the thing. I've tried to watch it a bunch of times, and someone in this room is like, nah.
Your shoulders. She's like, no!
Just frisbee it.
Swen, kill. If they looked like... and technically, replicants are more human than robot.
That's the tag.
I thought you were about to start singing a
human.
Rob Zombie song.
More human than human.
Yeah.
Well, that's where that
So-
came from.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I never saw the movie, so I
He
didn't know.
is kind of a cinema buff, the old Rob Zombie.
Yeah, okay.
But if they were like that, I could be like, all right, I want to see this, because how did they do it? Like, is there circuitry? Like, how is this, But it's Bender. He's basically a trash can with a head
Yeah.
and limbs. Like, why? Do you really just want to see a dangle?
And claw hands.
Yeah, exactly. 3 fingers that he just uses for stealing things. That's basically. Actually, you know what? He could probably use those for other things too. Terrible, terrible things.
Well, we've all already brought up that Bender is basically magic. He can kind of do anything when the occasion calls for it, so maybe magic robot penis.
And we've said it! Robot penis! There it is!
Well, look, when they are going at it, they're just in a typical embrace,
So it's the,
he's not
the old
using
dryer
his
vibrate.
antenna. So maybe it is the dryer vibration. I don't know.
I still... Okay.
Maybe it's just all mental for her. Like, she's just like, yeah, you treat me like garbage, and
I
it makes
mean,
me get off.
I feel like that can only go so far. But
And we didn't mention that. Amy is very attracted to bad boys. One of my favorite bad boys that we meet is the murder burglar.
Yeah.
yeah, and okay, so apparently in the year 3005 or whatever year this is now, their tattoos are
Animated.
live tattoos.
Yeah.
So he has a tattoo of himself burgling a house. He burgles it and then he throws a Molotov cocktail inside and sets it on
The
fire.
best part is it has audio. You hear him
Yeah.
whoop, comes out and goes, ugh.
Did the tattoos also have smells, though?
Oh.
I don't think there's any evidence to show that there was smells.
So it doesn't smell like burning
It
house.
doesn't smell like
Or
kerosene
flesh.
and flesh. Yeah.
So is that the tattoo that's something he actually did?
I feel like, that's a prison tat.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Unlike Amy's tattoo, which is on her ass.
Of her
Yeah.
mom.
Yes. We already know she has several other tattoos.
Yeah.
The devil tattoo.
Okay.
And I'm assuming the other one on her ass is the unicorn. You guys remember that?
Yeah.
All 300 big boys.
Oh, no, I don't remember.
Why am I remembering all the things? I shouldn't be the one.
But why? Okay, so she is super into bad boys in this episode. I don't know. I guess if I'm just being honest, I kind of feel for Kif.
Yes, good.
They're
You should.
They're in a committed relationship
I'll
as
let
far
you
as I
guys
was
continue this conversation.
as far as I've been led to believe. Is that a proper statement that someone can make? As far as I've been led to believe.
Yeah. No, you're good. Keep going.
Okay. Well, anyhow, they're fun ruse. So,
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden they're
whole
just
thing.
then they're just in prison and she's just hitting on every, fat, tattooed convict that's in there.
Mm-hmm.
The guy, what does he do? He steals essentially lightsaber from Earl or whoever. And
Yeah,
takes her hostage and she just fucking
laser
loves it.
baton.
And she's just like, sploosh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I
She's
mean,
real into it. But I guess you have to wonder
I did.
Thank you for the Archer.
You're welcome.
you have to wonder what was going wrong with their relationship. Something.
Well,
Yeah.
Kif is kind of.
Ooh. Oh, good.
He's a little bit of a,
You're offending James right now.
no, I'm actually on board. As much as I love Kif, and granted, as much of a fuck up as Amy is throughout a lot of this episode, Kif is also being kind of a wimp.
Well, isn't that whole argument at the beginning, they can't figure out what they want to watch on TV?
Yeah, because they're watching the news, but it's too violent for Kif.
Yeah, and he was like, let's watch Rachel Ray. Oh, wait, there might be cutting.
There might be chopping.
Chopping.
Yeah. But then Kif does mention that they've been going through a rough patch. Or Amy says rough patch, sorry. And Kif is like, oh, it's much longer than that, according to your hunk of the month calendar.
Completely inappropriate. Thanks, babe. That'd be really super weird if your calendar could talk to you.
That guy was pretty hunky, though.
It's Canadian Independence Day.
Also, who has a physical calendar anymore?
There's actually one in the next room over.
Is it hunk of the month?
Actually, fucking close. It's
Pin-up girls.
Yeah, pinup girls.
Oh.
And they are pretty
I'd
hot.
probably have one if it was animated like that, if I could talk to it.
Yeah, if you could actually have a conversation. These things that they keep showing in the episode are excuses not to have a significant other. You have a robot that you can have sex with and a calendar you can talk to.
If it was a calendar that you could just, like, vent to, just like a home therapist.
Yes.
How do you feel about that?
Hey, January. Real rough day at the office.
Just want to remind you, your mom's birthday is coming up. Thank you, January.
Thanks. You're the best.
Imagine if you could combine the two. Just, like, get rid of the robot that you can fuck and just, fuck your calendar.
Fuck your calendar?
Fuck your calendar therapist.
Is that what they were kind of implying? Like, was she, like...
I mean, she was fucking into that guy on there, yeah, so I don't know.
I mean, was she doing things whenever Kif wasn't around with the calendar?
Here's what I will say in response to that. I think they are going through a rough patch. I think that Amy wants to fuck that hunk, and she was shitty during this episode from time to time, as was Kif, but
No. We only see Kif
I don't think that to this point, Amy has been unfaithful to Kif.
As far out as we got for the robosexual intercourse part, calendar sex sounds way more mechanically intricate.
Well, we don't know if that calendar was like a 3D calendar. If it's 2-dimensional, that's one thing. But if it's 3-dimensional, then that seems pretty easy.
It wouldn't even have to go that far.
Tangible.
I mean, she could just look at it and do her thing.
Well, that's true.
Do you remember when you were very young and you had magazines? We've talked about this before. Forest porn, goddammit.
Forest porn.
I hear about that all the time, and I have
You never had that experience?
No, I
found
stole
porn
it
in
from
the
my
forest
dad
all
like
the
a normal
time.
human being.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in the woods.
Okay.
Oh, well,
And-
yeah, see, maybe if you're further out, but when you're in the suburbs, you find shit.
That
It's
is...
Well, yeah,
Alright.
apparently, like, you go to, like, the little section of woods by your house in the burbs.
where people
and
hang out.
there's apparently a stash of porn in a stump somewhere.
If you grow up in the actual woods, there's way too much woods. You'll never find
You'll
it.
never find it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Gotta
that's a good,
condense
that's a
it down
good
to one
point.
little area.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you grew up in the suburbs and you have a collective, 90 yards of woods to go through.
Yeah.
Well, there's porn in there.
Yeah.
for
There's
sure.
somewhere. Throw a rock, you'll probably find it.
Oh my god. We've got to be on so many watch lists right now.
No. We're
I'm
good.
sure that I've said this before, but I just want to reiterate. I found porn in the woods, and I stole it, and then I re-hid it in my own
Yeah.
spot.
I
Yeah.
feel like you stealing it and re-hiding it is not what you should have. You should have put
Well,
it back.
no, then it becomes your porn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then it was
Well, until
mine.
someone else finds it.
Yeah.
Did someone else find it?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right.
This
well, then
is
it's-
pre-internet. This is basically like the musical chairs of pornography
Every
trading.
man for himself type
Yep.
thing. All
This
right.
is like 1993 or something.
And you said you got your porn from your dad. Is he not? I hope he's not going to listen to this. Because
I seriously doubt it, but if not, he'd probably find it hilarious.
Well, here's the thing. Like, I had friends who their fathers had Playboys, sitting in the bathroom, and I'd be like, "Is this all right?" Like, I grew up in a single parent house, mom was raped. There was no porn in the house
Every
at all.
time you're at your
Well,
friend's,
not that you knew of.
Yeah, well, as far as I know.
every time Dave's at his friend's house, his dad's like, "Why the fuck is he staying so long?"
I'll be 1 second! Hold on.
I didn't think you needed to act it out. This is not a visual medium.
yeah, that was weird.
What are you talking about? You guys have done far weirder things on this podcast.
And so, as we were talking, no one can see that. That's just for us.
Yeah, that was for your laughter in general.
I had the note when they're at the circusitis meeting. That's what they were talking about, right?
Circusitis meeting. No, that is not what... Never mind.
But when they're trying to conceal their relationship, they bring out the point pointing out all the little, cracks in the dam. Bender has lipstick on his face, I guess.
Yeah, and he's wearing Amy's pink jogging pants.
So
yeah,
Amy was sitting at the conference.
Pants.
Was she just not wearing pants?
Apparently,
I
yeah.
assume not.
Underwear. That's it.
So
Well, and then we see her that way again when they find her in the tornado.
yeah.
Because she's topless but is only wearing underwear.
I'm still... we know why Amy just wears a tracksuit, correct?
Do we? I forget. Well, I know that she was fat as a child and her parents shamed her.
Because it's easier to animate it that way.
Realistic. I like it.
If we're looking at it from a
Standpoint.
production standpoint, yeah.
We were going to speculate a little, but thank you for ending that.
Sorry. All right. I'll leave now.
I'm done.
No, isn't it the episode when she's dating Fry that they explain that, right?
Yeah, he asked her, why do you always dress kind of like a guy? And I think she even goes on to say, well, my parents always tell me what to do, so I figure, screw it, I'll do what I want to do. Mm-hmm. And she just kind of dresses like a slob in general, just for that reason. It's the fight my parents on everything scenario.
Ah, yes.
Oh, I was just pointing out to Feaster that your hand was in front of your
I was
face.
burping. Why did I be like that?
Because you constantly put your fucking hand in front of your face on an audio medium.
Also, turn your face directly away from the microphone.
I have been watching our audio pickup the whole time, and I'm fine.
Okay, you're not the one who has to fucking edit the show.
It's completely silent in here. They're gonna hear us regardless.
Getting real peek behind the curtain right now.
Yeah, you are. No, this is always on the show. We got it done. All right, see, now okay, go ahead.
This podcast only ends when we are right on the brink of physically attacking
James,
one
you're not
another.
being loud enough, man. You're not being loud. You want to go ahead and talk a little bit, buddy? That's all right. You don't need to look at this. You can stop now. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead and talk a little.
I couldn't be happier. I couldn't be happier about how much of a shit show. I couldn't be happier about how much of a shit show this is right now.
Speak loud. Put your face right towards the thing. All right, good.
Look at all those red lines on your fucking towel. Jesus Christ.
Welcome to the party.
Oh my, that was the most disastrous meltdown. That was Kanye West on CNN level awful.
It could have been worse. Could have been Tom Cruise on Oprah.
At least that was loving.
He was about to kill the woman. Could you see the violence?
I mean, usually, yeah. That's kind of his permanent look.
Tom Cruise, please don't sue us. We have no money.
I mean, we're
He's
talking.
not going to listen to this.
We're talking about a cartoon from the early aughts.
Okay.
Why don't we just reference media things from the early aughts as well?
First
that
of all,
have no meaning whatsoever.
Let's just forget the last 10 years happened.
Yeah, exactly. We've talked about L. Ron Hubbard on here, so I'm assuming that might have piqued some...
We did?
Yes, in one of our bonus
yeah, there was
episodes.
a bonus ep, yeah.
So if they haven't sent us a cease and desist by now, I think we're okay.
I think it'll be alright.
Yeah. Scientology is nothing.
Oh, God.
Well, so when we're done recording, do you guys want to watch the Scientology DVDs?
I knew you were going to say. I knew you.
How much acid do we have?
I guess not nearly.
Are they
enough.
recruitment DVDs or what?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Ask this one.
Yeah, she's the one who got it out in California.
I'm actually very
Seemed
curious.
like a
about
good
that.
idea.
Unfortunately, the fucking DVD player that Dave gave to us only allows you to watch the first chapter of anything, and then it doesn't play any further.
I told you to get a fucking Universal remote. Get a fucking
How
Universal.
are we supposed to join?
I know, how are we supposed to become Scientologists and give them all of our
you
money?
don't know how to get to stage 36.
Yet, lo and behold, I've saved them from a life of terribleness.
Michael, it's for the best that you can only watch the first chapter.
David, your DVD player is shit.
Okay, be like that.
So
I'll take it back.
Literally stops at the end of the first chapter.
Well, if I'm being honest, I think it's actually the fault of the Scientology DVD makers, because you play the first chapter and you would think, okay, because there's no, like, you just have to push play on the DVD player.
Yeah.
There's no control, there's no remote that works for it. So you click play and it gets through chapter 1 and then it just stops. If it's a movie, it'll play through, like Blade Runner would play through the whole thing.
But because
So the Scientology DVDs will not, and I'm so
God,
down.
learn how to live stream Scientology.
Actually, there probably is a YouTube channel, so you guys should check that out.
Do you remember when they aired that fucking commercial
This
during
thing
the
probably
Super Bowl?
exists, so you should
Scientology?
check it
Yeah.
out.
No.
Yeah,
I
they
don't remember that.
they
at all.
aired a commercial during the Super Bowl, like for the past 2 years. Actually, I think Elise wrote a sketch for UCB based on it when she was out there. Yeah.
Hey,
Oh my god.
do you guys like sports ball? Well, then you're gonna love Zeno.
Holy shit, that was one of the funniest things you've ever said.
All right, let's get back on track. We've gotten so
Can we just
far
take a
off
fucking
here.
break?
Are we going to commercial?
Smoke,
Yeah, where are we at?
All right, we are at 38:25.
All right, let's take an ad break.
Hi, this is the crew from the Planet Express Delivery Podcast.
Hello.
We are just this
Oh,
is
hey.
a commercial break. This is a commercial break.
This is a commercial break.
But we'd like to inform you, if you'd like to support the show, we do have several ways that you can do that. The one in particular that we are going to tell you about today, I'm going to pass this off to James right now because he has all the information, but he will tell you right now.
Yeah, I'm the one who owns a computer.
Exactly.
Okay. So
The instructions, the notes that you have there look very simple, though. It just says, send vodka.
it says send vodka.
Yeah, to support us.
Yes, just support us. Please send vodka to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. We'll find it. Don't worry.
Sure.
We always do.
But if you want a more direct way to support the show, we do have a merch store through the site TeePublic, who we're affiliated with. If you would like, go to our website, planetexpresspod.podbean.com. Click on the link in the episode description, and that'll take you directly to our merch page. Once you're there, we have dozens of designs for you to choose from. You pick the design you want, pick out t-shirt, hoodie, mug, laptop case, stickers, other things that I'm probably forgetting right
Jeez,
now.
No, that's a lot. I didn't realize we had that much even.
Oh, no.
But that's awesome. Now I'm going to go and check it out. Because
I'm
I
going to
do
go buy
want-
some as well.
Yeah.
You know what? I think I will as well.
I think this sounds fantastic.
Okay, guys, you pushed that a little too far. I was trying to make it fun for everyone. Now it's not.
It
all
is
right?
this is the funnest thing I've ever heard.
Actually,
Now,
forget this plug. We're going to buy our own merch
We're
right
buying merch. Also, though, that is not the only way you can support us. As always, we do want to hear from you on our Facebook page and on all the places you can listen to our show, Podbean being our flagship.
You could maybe rate us on iTunes,
Oh, yeah.
which would be nice of you to
Yes, we love hearing from, and we do have email addresses, which we'll give at the end of the show.
But any support that you guys can throw at the show is much appreciated. We are a completely DIY endeavor, and we did not expect the show to be even as big as it is, whatever modicum of success we've been able to achieve.
Yeah, I don't think we
throughout
can
this.
measure it at any, not at this point.
But if you want, please do leave us a review in the iTunes store and check out our merch page on TeePublic. Again, go to planetexpresspod.podbean.com to click the link
that will lead you there. And everything goes right back into supporting the show. We do not get paid for this.
No, we do not.
We lose money every episode that we do.
Technically, we'd all be bankrupt right now.
We're not, you're not already?
No, I have not filed.
I am fully in the red.
Well, that explains why our studio looks like shit.
Hey, fuck you.
I've changed my identity 6 times since we started the show.
All right, so yes, if you need any more information, there is an email address we'll give at the end of the show, and please send us money.
Just loose money.
Loose change. We love it.
Sacagawea dollars.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we're back. Not to cut you guys off, but I'm cutting you guys off.
Ah, good work.
So were you the one who was like murdering everyone, or were you like the sole survivor watching everyone else get murdered?
What the hell are you talking about right now?
It's the same thing. Yeah.
I was making a terrible joke about that shitty movie Hostel.
Actually had nothing.
No, that was the Germans.
To do with the actual hostel.
Wait, what do you mean?
In the movie, it had nothing. They went out. Okay, so they stop at a hostel.
Okay.
But they go out to like explore, and I'm assuming it's just Prague at this point, like whatever small like town they're in. Like the first guy, I'm trying to remember the exact thing. The first guy goes into like a sex museum where he meets these like very promiscuous young ladies, and they convince him to come to some party, and he ends up in some basement getting his legs chainsawed off by some foreign businessman
In the sex museum.
No, they start at the sex museum.
Okay. Let's
And
draw
then-
a timeline here. They start at the sex museum.
Yes. They abduct this young man and take him to another location.
At the sex museum.
At the sex museum. Have you not? I'm assuming everyone's seen Hostel.
I did not.
Okay, you are a better person.
Yeah, you're not missing anything.
You're a better person than I
I remember I wanted to when it came out because the dude with the chainsaw like in the trailer, and I was like, well, you know, chainsaws
Well, this
are cool.
was at the time when they were doing the they were making all these horror movies. Like there was this French.
High Tension.
Yeah, High Tension.
Oh, God.
Like
That movie was great until the twist at the end.
oh yeah, where they
the
and you're
twist
like,
just
what
ruined the whole
fuck?
movie. Like, it was like, no. Like,
Yeah.
then what was the whole point of the scene at the beginning with the head? Like, come on.
Well, maybe that was the point, but at the same time, like, okay, so I'm gonna ruin this for you guys. She's the killer.
Yeah.
The person who you think is going to be the the Sigourney Weaver of the movie,
The final girl.
yeah,
you know,
ends
yeah.
up being the fucking Leatherface of the movie, and what they do is they flash back through the whole movie and just show her killing everybody. I think the part that got me was instead of a chainsaw, she uses it's a cement cutter. It is a circular blade that spins so fast that it cuts, but it also like spits water
pavement
out.
saw.
Yeah, pavement saw. And I was like, oh, well, now I have to see this because I know how those work, and that will cut right through. It's like a pig eating flesh. Like, it will fucking cut through bone probably like this, and you won't even feel it.
Side note, really great song by Big Black called Pavement Saw.
Okay, I'll have to look that up then.
Yeah.
So we are back from our commercial break. Where do you guys want to continue with this?
Planet Tornadus.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah, so the professor, he's entering into, what's the context?
it's some kind of like farm show-esque, like, oh, we're gonna make all these...
farm show, you could speak about that
Yeah,
a
fuck
little
the
bit.
farm show. I hate the fucking farm show.
What do you mean?
I hate it.
Would you rather?
I hate it.
Would you rather talk about the young teenage girls that you're about to be photographing?
You mean the cheerleading competition?
Yeah.
You just made me sound so bad.
I mean, I'm just.
Thank you.
I'm not trying to make you sound bad. All I'm doing is talking about what your actual life consists of.
Yeah,
so
I
that's,
am keep getting put into very random situations. I agreed to do
What are you doing? Like a volleyball tournament for preteens? Or?
Well, the PIAA volleyball tournament. That already happened, buddy. I was not part of that.
Yeah.
He missed that one.
Yeah, no, I opted out on that one.
Dave will be judging the Miss Underage Teen America pageant.
Oh, good show. Yeah.
By the way, when Dave says that he opted out, what he really means is that he was not invited back.
I was not asked.
Due to the events from the past year.
I was not asked to come back.
Yeah.
Due to certain restraining orders, Dave was not allowed back.
Oh, I'm going to be on so many lists. Oh, jeez.
So, do we find out what it's just a farm show competition. Professor needs a tornado in a jar.
Yeah, but what are the other things that he already has?
Raspberry Raisin Typhoon or something is one.
Right.
And then...
hail with onions.
Yes. So it's all like cooking, kind of cooking jokes for these, you'll see these fairs that happen in small towns.
But it's not really hail then. It's just a downpour of onions. I feel like hail would sort of indicate that it was...
Well, frozen onions.
Okay.
There you go. You gotcha. Continue on.
Oh,
No,
that would be
done.
disastrous.
That's it. I got nothing else.
I'm so glad that we went down this train of thought.
Well, we had to follow it all the way to the end.
But this is where Amy and Bender are exposed as a couple.
Yes.
Because they're in the they're fucking.
Yeah, just
maybe
say it's
Well, still, we don't know how they fuck exactly, but yes,
vibrating.
Yeah.
the professor is using his machine to extract a little bit of tornado, and in the main tornado booth, we see a bra plastered against the wall.
And then we see the pimp hat from the Players Club.
And
Players.
his accordion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is all kind of an allusion to Oz, because they show things spinning around the way they do. But this is where we find out who our main antagonist of the episode is, which, I'll tell you what, I couldn't believe it, because he's generally the one who is just, exposing himself and saying the most nutty shit.
Yeah, he's the most amoral character on the show.
Yes.
And that's not to put any morality into robosexual marriage, which doesn't exist yet.
I can't wait for that. It's gonna be a good time.
Well, first we have to figure out how robots fuck humans. Then we can actually...
Well, they got a big old robot dick. What are you talking about?
That is what it is, James.
Pneumatic.
It's going to be so weird when that's written into law.
It's like a fucking piston.
And hereforth, all big old robot dicks will be allowed inside any human consenting.
Inside? Jesus.
Any consenting adult.
Yeah, or do you think that it's just Bender's just slapping around outside?
Just headbutting and pelvic grinding. It's like the worst fucking over the pants situation you can have.
Just eye tube to groin is...
Oh, that's terrible. Oh, fuck.
Oh, speaking of robot sex, how would the wine bucket do? He doesn't even have an antenna.
Well, he's got the thing that comes out of his chin.
So he's just inserting a wine nozzle?
Insert the nozzle. That's basically...
The nozzle.
The nozzle. Don't look away from the nozzle.
You guys have heard of butt chugging.
Oh, why? Why would you? No! Stop! That's terrible.
This has been classy so far. Come on.
No, we're already here. Explain it to our listeners.
Okay, I will explain butt chugging.
All right, all you, buddy.
It's when you put an alcoholic beverage in your butt because it gets soaked up way quicker and you get fucked up.
There's no science behind that.
Oh, no, there is. You gotta be fucking careful. You shouldn't do that ever. Nobody ever do that. You can die.
You heard it straight from us. Don't do that, or you could die.
This has turned into a really great PSA from the Planet Express delivery podcast.
But I'm just imagining the wine robot.
What, sticking it in her butt?
Well, wherever they want to stick it, but they gotta be fucking careful. You can't just do that all willy-nilly.
That gives safe sex a whole different definition.
Hopes deleted.
Hopes deleted.
That's one of the best lines in the episode.
I'm sure I've used that GIF like 1,000 times.
Yeah.
Well, we used the New Year's Eve GIF too much, apparently.
Enough that people got sick of it. Yeah.
Okay, all right, good.
Which was the point.
All right, so barring the butt chugging conversation we just had.
No, I think we should continue.
With butt chugging?
Yeah.
Butt chugging. Chugging.
Did you say butt chucking?
Yes, I did the second time.
Oh, that's way dirtier.
Yeah, it sounds terrible and very uncomfortable. Why are you chucking butts?
I mean, are you chucking butts or are you chucking things into butts?
Ah, there it is.
Some from column A, some from column B.
So, now that we've jumped around a little bit more,
James, what's your next note? Goddammit!
Yeah, let's jump a little. Let's
get away from.
Yeah, let's get a little further ahead here.
It's when Amy is being forced by her parents to pick a male human.
Oh, I was actually a little bit bummed because I was hoping that we'd see like Camel Joe or the Marble Man because those are people that they've tried to set her up with in the past, and we didn't see that in the lineup at all. But
I do love that Fry comes to her rescue.
Yeah. What about this gross, ugly, smelly loser?
Yeah. He has to throw in the word smelly. He's a fucking idiot.
Love him.
Really? Because that was my Tinder profile for the longest time.
What about this gross, smelly?
Was that not good?
No, I feel like that's a terrible Tinder
No,
profile.
I like that. If he's on Tinder and some girl sees that and she knows that line from that show, then, well, at least you got one thing in common.
It's fucking Tinder. They're not gonna know that.
So wait, you think that just like random females that are on Tinder, there's no way that they could know a line from Futurama?
I have used Tinder, and I am
we know you have.
Terrible on Tinder. Nobody ever gets the shit I'm talking about. Maybe that's the girls
It's because you keep talking about butt chugging.
I'm not the one who brought that up, thank you very much. This guy over here.
Well, what's your fucking bio line on
I tried
Tinder?
to be straightforward about it. Hey, just looking for a good time.
Well, yes, so was I.
Okay, dude. No, we need to have a conversation.
What's wrong with that? I'm not lying.
Dave's profile just says send nudes.
Exactly. Would you like a dick pic? Don't look at me like that.
No, we're gonna have a review of your...
I don't use Tinder anymore.
Oh, okay.
All.
What are you using now? FarmersOnly.com?
No, I just talk to women at the bar at this point. Yeah, you know what? I should do that because that would be a spectacular match. Me just being like, "You're wrong! It's all fake! There is no God!"
Well, what was that story you just told us about on the porch where you said to some poor girl that you work with, do you smoke because you look high right now? And she was like, no, I'm a strong Christian woman or whatever.
Okay, first of all, there was a lot of conversation prior to that. That is how the conversation ended.
Okay.
It doesn't matter if you're, you probably smoke weed if you're religious.
Okay, continue. Wait, what? But here's the thing. Why would you look at a woman or anyone and be like, Oh, because you look
Because
high.
I like to jump to conclusions. Thank you very much.
It just seems so offensive.
Assumptions.
Like you look like your eyes are drooping and you're falling asleep
She
right now.
looks stoned.
So,
So,
pretty good bong hit you took
obviously,
there?
what's that?
Is that a pretty good bong hit you took there?
I
Hey,
wish I would've
Stoney,
said
I
that.
see your face is pretty fucked up right now.
Yeah, you got a little for after the show. Let's do this.
Have you ever spoken to that person?
Yeah, no, she talks to me all the time. I think I broke the ice with that, actually. She figured out what type of person I was and was like, he's actually pretty funny. I like him.
Oh, I was thinking more along the lines of he's kind of a dick.
No, she loves me.
Kind of.
We're like best buddies.
Hmm.
Her and I love the same video games.
Is she cute?
Anyway,
Okay.
thank you, Dave.
Hopefully you've never told her about this podcast.
I'm pretty sure everyone at work knows about the podcast.
The next note I have is Zoidberg in The Dummy.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember this part?
Yes. Yep. What do I say? Cuddle with your demons. Cuddle with them.
Yeah, the preacher bot who was very clearly getting off on
Oh my God,
homosexuality.
It is another one of the best lines in the episode. It was like, yeah, do it with your demons. Do it with them. He's like wiping his brow. He's sweating. Oh, yeah, calm down. All right, everybody cuddle with Jim. The Lord's work is done. It's just like
yeah. Well, it's like every homophobic senator or preacher who eventually gets busted as like
Gets outed. Yeah.
soliciting sex from like men in truck stops, like
or in bathrooms in airports.
Mhm.
We're calling you out, buddy. We know who you are. That was years ago, if anyone remembers that. You guys don't remember that at all?
No.
He was like a big fucking like anti-gay senator activist. Got caught soliciting some dude in another stall in a bathroom
yeah.
at an airport. It was like a big thing. We forget about shit so quick. Like these things, I always remember these little hypocritical things that politicians do because I think it's funny as fuck. Because the next 6 months there's going to be another one, and we forget about the previous dumb thing that happened. Like, no, I'm going to remember all these things. And then when I get put up to say something, I'm going to say the shit. And be like, this fucking happened. Why does no one remember this?
Dave for Congress.
No, absolutely not. I don't want to be a politician. I'm a terrible human being as it is. You don't need to make me worse.
You're already doing better than most members.
No, I am
of
not. No. Dude. All right, we're going to bring it to... So, vacation. I don't know. You probably didn't have off 2 weeks. Christmas and New Year's.
No, I worked the whole time.
Okay, all right. So I had off for 2 weeks and binged those. I drank every day and made terrible mistakes every single day. And as I was telling James, I regret none of those decisions, but still were horrible decisions. I'm 34 years old. I should not be doing these things.
What you're saying? Things. What?
I'm not going to go into specifics here at all. All I know is that I woke up at the end, the day after New Year's Eve, which, I will tell you this, all of us were blackout drunk. And I was just like, no, none of that should happen ever again. Ever. I think this will be the last time it does. And if it isn't the last time, I'm going to hate myself for the rest of my life. It's fine. What are you doing?
This is my seat.
Alright, so, barring my being a terrible human being conversation that was just going on.
Yeah.
Hey, if anybody wants any popcorn, here you go.
Cool.
Nothing better than chewing on a microphone.
It's cheesy, in case you want.
I can smell it from here, thank you very much.
Moving on to...
Thank you for at least taking a bite, Feaster.
Going back to the dummy thing.
Yeah.
So they were all in the dummy.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah, that's right.
No, it starts off,
You talk about how that pastor is, getting
Yes.
off on all this.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it starts with that, but then it ends with Bender is, nuzzling the doll that looks very much like Amy. If you guys didn't notice,
I didn't. One of them looked like Amy?
Not really.
yeah, bring it up on the thing. It looked exactly like Amy.
Dude.
I'm not even shitting you. I'm not even kidding.
Keep talking while I fuck around with this.
Well, it looked. He's like nuzzling
Here,
this
James.
and going, "Oh, Amy," and then he's like, "I'm wondering where." And
I
you
don't
hear,
think that's the case.
Oh, you are going to be so wrong.
You're already wrong.
Every day of my life, but still, go ahead and put it up on the screen.
All right, I'm getting there. Talk.
We're putting something up on the screen that none of you can see. Just want to point that out to our listeners. But what was it exactly, Feaster, that you were going to say about the doll part?
I don't remember.
You can't remember.
Jesus.
Wow, we're really bad at hosting this.
Throwing that to you now, bringing it back to James. James!
I'm good at podcasting.
Does anybody know the minute marker?
It's got to be a little after halfway.
Oh, fucking great.
Look, halfway, middle of the screen, a little after.
All right, I'm
I
going.
mean, it gives you a little preview.
Yeah, we got Amazon preview, which is good.
I still wish I knew more about the backstory with Bender and his graffiti, but...
I still can't believe you're talking about that.
Yeah. He's trying to be Banksy.
Yeah. All right, someone tell me when.
Stop.
Yeah, like right here.
No, yeah, you're right.
Oh, you know what? You're not wrong. I'm mad about it, but you're not wrong.
You know what?
Why would I make something
same
up like
eyes.
that?
I'll give it
Well,
that.
and the pink shirt.
All right. Let's go back.
No. There you go.
Right about.
This is great for a podcast.
Yeah, no, it's spectacular. This way. Look, she's got the same.
It's similar.
Yeah, I guess so.
Cut
I
it
guess
what
so. This is, by the way, this is the first time we've ever done this. Played the episode.
No, we
or,
did
like,
it with
reviewed it.
Nathan was here.
What?
We put the episode back on to see what was going
I
on.
don't remember that.
Cut it with your demons.
All right, I'm gonna give you that one. It does kind of look like Amy.
A little bit.
No, I'll admit.
There's enough similarities.
I still think that you're an asshole, but
Yeah, I know you do, but that's all right.
You can be an asshole and still be right.
Exactly. And guess what? I'm right, motherfucker.
Mhm.
All right, so what's the next note you have? We'll move on from the doll.
We're talking about lots of stuff.
Lots of stuff? Well, at this point, I think Bender and Amy have started their...
Well, they're being open about their relationship now.
Yeah, but they're trying to get homosexuality... They're trying to get homosexuality legalized in New York.
Yeah.
And this is kind of where... This is the what I was telling Suds earlier. This is basically what just happened. I don't know, how many years ago did gay marriage become legal in New York? It was
in New York?
Yeah,
I have
in
no
New
idea.
York. It couldn't have been. It had to be part of the Obama administration, obviously, because the administration. Oh, here we go. This is going to be fun. Because the current administration is a bunch of fascist Nazi fuckheads. So, does anyone else want to comment on the current administration? Or-
No, it's just gonna make me angry.
Yeah, so I didn't want to bring it up, but I did. So now that we're on, this would never happen with what is going on in the country now. We'll just end it now.
I read the news now like I'm reading my own obituary.
I actually avoid the news these days. I mean, because
That's wise.
it's unavoidable. I mean, if you're on any kind of social media, it's gonna be in your face. But it's a topic I avoid because I work with all Trump supporters.
Oh, God.
So
Ooh.
it is,
Great sympathy for you, man.
It's a thing that I try to avoid. A lot of them, well, not a lot of them, a couple of them have Trump grit. They,
I mean, good.
they're like,
You need to coin that
they're
and
like,
make sure that's yours.
I can't claim that. I got that off Reddit. But they're slowly figuring it out. But the ones that still support him, I can't believe I'm fucking talking about this.
And here we are. So it's all right.
But
this is a safe place.
The people that still support him, it has nothing to do with what he's doing or what he is, what he's doing as far as what he's actually accomplishing. It has everything to do with what he represents. Because they are all
racism,
racist as shit.
Yep.
There we go.
And it is a complete matter of, you're a Democrat, I hate you. You're a liberal, I hate you.
It's stubbornness.
Yes. Yeah.
It's the I'm right, you're evil mentality.
Yes. Like he could walk into their house and shoot their mother in the face, and they'd be like,
Well,
that upset a liberal.
Probably
Awesome.
had something to, she did something wrong.
But anyway, let's
look. I mean, he does say and do a lot of fucked up things, but I do think that we can all sort of agree that
you're going to be the devil's advocate.
Africa is a shithole.
Do you want to do that? Do you want to do that in the voice of Dr. Stephen Nipple?
And Haiti is a shithole, and the people who come from there should go back to their shithole because they're brown. I mean, we all agree, right?
Well, yeah, of course we're all in agreement about this, but the issue is, what do we do about it?
Oh my god. I feel so bad for even just saying that as a joke.
You hurt me. My heart was like, what was left of it started.
Did even for like a fucking split second did you think that I was being serious?
No way. No way.
Good.
I was just like, he's saying it.
Elise.
He's saying it. Oh god.
Look, I'm going to say something, and I don't think that this is... I mean, it's going to be a little bit weird, but I don't know. I just hope that Donald Trump dies. I don't personally plan on killing him.
Yeah.
Do you think if he just
However,
had a massive heart attack,
I just hope he dies. I just hope he dies.
Do you think anyone would be that sad if he just like keeled over?
No, Mike Pence would be fucking stoked.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he would be. Like, oh, I'm going to put so many worse laws in.
I don't know.
Melania would probably be pretty psyched too.
Yeah, that's a pretty
she'd be
sad
fucking
story in itself. There.
ecstatic. Yeah.
I'm free!
Yeah.
What were you going to say, Mike? Sorry.
I was just gonna say, like, I don't think you understand the cult that is his following.
I do, but it's dwindling every day. I want to say.
Man,
I
work
that's a
with
thing.
over 500 people, man,
And they're all
It's a unique brand of psychosis.
It really is.
I want it to be dwindling like you say it is, but I don't know if it fucking is.
It's not because it, like I said, it has nothing to do. He could make every mistake in the world.
The brown people!
And it doesn't matter because of he justifies how they feel. You know, like they.
Is that the country I live in now?
Yeah, dude, and you're right. I mean,
not the whole country.
He's normalizing all this racist fucking rhetoric, and so now people like my fucking mom and stepdad, they think they can just say these racist thoughts that they have, and it's normal. I mean, it's fucking. I want to kill everyone. I hate everyone.
They think it's okay, whereas a large majority of us know that it is not okay. Like, they just think it's okay because this guy.
Well, he's president of the United States. He can say whatever he wants.
No, he can't. He's still a fucking American citizen. He cannot be a dickhole fuckface. And it. I was just talking to James, like, every time I open a news app to look at something, it always starts with Trump.
And then a picture of him.
Yeah. doing that
Mouth
stupid
open.
fucking face. Yeah, and it gets worse every time.
Well,
and-
he always looks stupid. He can't not look stupid.
That's true. Yes, that big orange buffoon.
God. Oh my god, he looks like someone inflated a fucking birthday balloon with their ass.
All right,
We need to shift.
Yeah,
on
I'm
that.
going to end it on that note. We need to continue with the episode. We did our 5-minute rant about Donald Trump.
Unfortunately, we never saw Space Trump in this episode.
No.
Zach Brannigan.
We did
Otherwise,
not
it would make
see.
more sense that we're talking about
Now-
Trump. But
Here's the thing, though. He is worse than Zach Brannigan.
oh yeah, for sure.
Now it's apparent to me that Zach Brannigan is a terrible character who does terrible things, but he is nowhere near Trump at all in any way. The past week has indicated that to me altogether.
Yeah.
Okay, one last thing. Did any of you guys see that interview with Don Lemon and what was that guy's name? Moody? Where he...
No, it
Okay.
wasn't Don Lemon. Are you talking about the Stephen Miller
No,
interview
no,
on
no, I saw that
CNN,
too.
which was fucking phenomenal?
It was amazing, yeah. But no, there was an interview with a guy with Don Lemon and, god damn it, Muddy, I forget what his name was, but he just fucking, he railed against Trump, and he, like, CNN broadcasted all of it, and he referred, like, he used essentially...
Oh, he said our president is a racist.
Well, Don Lemon said that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
But in this interview with this guy, fucking, I forget what his name is, but he essentially used like every single racial name in the book and said the N-word live to Don Lemon, who is an African American man. But it was like, it was breathtaking the degree to which he took down the Trump administration in this speech. I wish that I could remember what his name was. I forget, but it was amazing. Look it up. Look up Don Lemon N-word, basically, because you will find the interview based on that, I think.
And the worst part about that is Don Lemon is not a good journalist. But he has to be our fucking progressive savior because the
I don't know. Is he not good?
antithesis of that is the most blatant fascist racist bullshit that you could possibly...
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's... Alright, we have to move on because my head's about to explode.
Yeah, no, we've gotten way down the rabbit hole with this one. Let's.
Can we move on to Ghost and Horse?
Oh, yeah. Back to the comedy, guys.
I'm gonna let you guys roll with that.
This is going to be really great comedy coming back from
No,
everything
it
that
will.
we just talked about.
That's how we roll, man. It's just what we do. We go on rants and then we're good.
But Bender and Amy are have a new proposition called Proposition Infinity to legalize robosexual marriage in New York. The other side is the professor and... do we see anyone else on besides him?
I mean, other than the PSA thing, no. Like, it's just him. But they have the PSA with, like, the two dudes and the woman
Yeah.
and the kids. Which, fantastic line from that. I say, imagine what will happen to our children, and then pretend that we said it because we can't think of anything right now.
Oh, yeah. That was a great line, yeah.
Something that we kind of glossed over that I actually wanted to bring up because when both Bender and Amy are taken to their respective camps to be deprogrammed of their robosexuality, I actually did a 16 episode about conversion therapy.
Okay.
And that they're not too far off in this episode with the way that they literally kidnap Bender and Amy and take them against their will to these places. That shit actually happens, and it's setting aside the fact that actually going to these camps and like having to participate in that is some of the most psychologically damaging torture that a young LGBT youth could endure. They're actually pretty accurate. You do get kind of just taken away from your family in the middle of the night, and you are just at this fucking place where you have to, cope with torturers. So, that episode, I talked to Cam Lamberson, a friend of ours, who thankfully didn't have to go through that same thing. But
didn't you do a couple episodes with Cam?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought so. Yeah.
But that was the episode that we did as a part of their master's program.
Right.
If you get a chance, go back and listen to that episode. But, I mean, I guess it's played up for laughs in this episode, kind of, but important to note that it actually fucking happens, and it's fucked up.
They did heavy on the satire.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like they didn't make... I mean, they made it... That's... At the time when this was being made, there was heavy indication that this was going on, and even prior to this. But yeah, they did kind of make a joke out of it, but not in a sense that you should be like, oh, well, this couldn't happen. Like...
Well, when the preacher bot comes in and Bender is just like, oh, this guy again.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, obviously it's going to be the fucking preacher bot is going to...
Oh, this guy. Which, yeah, and at the time when this came out, I remember the deprogramming, I want to call that's what it would be, the homosexual deprogramming camps, Christian camps that they would send kids to, which still in a lot of media, people, they make fun of because, first of all, it is terrible.
Yeah.
It is terrible that you would do that to your child or friend, but at the same time, they're like, this is so ridiculous that we cannot poke fun at. Like, we cannot not poke fun at these idiots who think that this is okay. Like, so, I mean, make a joke out of it, but at the same time be aware that, it, like you said, James, it is an actual ongoing...
Yeah, and, I mean, internationally, it's a little unfair of us to specify Christian as a religion, because pretty much every religion, and some subsect of every religion has an issue with this, but we're in America, so Christian.
The overarching religion in this country. So
yeah, it's very preeminently brought up as a Christian issue, and I remember from my conversation with Cam, the only reason that this is essentially still allowed is usually touted as religious freedom,
which is
which is baffling insanity when you put that up against abducting a teenager and forcing them against their will to change some aspect of their biology.
Allow us to do whatever the fuck we want based on our Christianity. But if you want to practice any other religion, fuck you. You're not allowed. Just Christianity.
That's the American way.
Are you gonna? This is gonna be you the whole episode. You're gonna do this. You got to do it in the voice of Stephen Nipple.
No, he's not coming back ever again.
No, he's just not coming.
He's not coming.
He doesn't have a robosexual lover.
That's true.
Dr. Stephen Nipple.
Yeah, he's not. He's done.
Doesn't think
he's been retired.
You should be able to vibrate against anything.
Dr. Stephen J. Nipple here. Get yourself a Hitachi magic wand if you want to, if you've got some back pain, and also, put it in your private parts. Dr. Stephen J. Nipple. Goodbye.
He's never going away, and we'll always bring him back. And he knows it. Continue with the actual conversation.
Well, let's jump to the debate where the professor's true motives are revealed.
Okay, so I'd mentioned early on in this episode, the professor is the most, debaucherous character. He's always getting naked or doing something, slapping Amy on the ass, or talking about, people in a sexual manner. I just don't understand why he, in general, would be so against this, and here is why. I'm going to let one of you explain.
Well, it's because an old girlfriend, and I'm not totally sure on the timeline of this because he's dated Mom around 30 times so far, so I don't know where in the fuck he managed to fit this in. But he used to date a robot Unit 47.
Which he alludes to it being a human female at one point during this debate.
But then breaks down and...
Well, first he found her having sex with a robot.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he was like, she betrayed me, blah, 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 blah.
Loses his shit.
And then he was like, how did they... I forget. How did they come around to finding out to him admitting that she was a robot?
Oh, Amy stands up because he says he found his girlfriend sleeping with a robot, and Amy stands up and she's like, "That's the reason you hate."
There you go.
It's like the dumbest. It's like the reason
because your ex-girlfriend cheated on you.
Yeah, exactly. You're gonna discriminate against a whole So, yeah, and that's how we find out that he was actually dating a robot, and it didn't work out. That's basically it.
So no one is allowed to do
Yeah, exactly. If I can't have sex with a robot, nobody can!
Well, that's like the typical, Christian Republican. If I can't openly have a fucking salacious
with a young man
gay relationship.
Well, I was going to say, going back to what you said earlier about the guy that, got caught soliciting in a bathroom. Because you actually are one and you're not okay with it. Yeah. So you're not okay with anybody else doing it.
So nobody else can have an open, happy relationship with who they love.
Well, actually, that is the perfect parallel with this episode, because the one person in this episode was the professor. The person who was the most against robosexuality was the one individual who actually was the one perpetrating that for their earlier in their life. And that is the same fucking thing with stupid, shitty Republicans who think that they can't be gay, but they are. And so they're like, I'm not going to let anybody else do this. Meanwhile, they're meeting men in the fucking bathroom, but they're trying to stop everyone else from being able to do that.
Got you on a tangent here, buddy. Just continue.
Yeah. Dude, Republicans are so gay. All right, we gotta try to wrap this episode up real quick here.
Okay.
I was gonna say we're almost there.
The professor realizes the error of his ways, I guess we'll say. Is, as he describes himself, a bitter old pickle puss.
Oh, yeah. He actually said a couple things like that in this episode that were pretty funny, I thought.
Yeah, he had that moment that never happens in real life where he was like, you know what? I was wrong. Let's do this. Everything is okay now.
Well, that's where the professor is smarter than everyone. He comes to immediate, he's like,
Is he smarter because he seems like a bit of a roboist?
Now, there is actually a lot going on. And before we get to the actual ad, so in a earlier episode of Futurama that is with Bender, it's a Bender-centric episode. It's where he is 30% chef. Is that what it is?
30% Iron Chef.
Iron Chef. You remember where he meets the hobos, and they go, "Hey, look, it's a robo," and he like freaks out.
Oh,
he's like, "Oh, I thought you called me a Romo," which is like a homosexual robot.
I thought it was the ex-quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys,
Tony Romo. Well, maybe that's insulting as well.
Yeah. All right, sorry for bringing up a sports reference on this fucking nerd podcast.
Dare you?
Yeah, exactly. We only talk about hockey on this podcast. That's it.
I can get into that.
Throw it to you. Yeah.
I always thought his name was Mr. Throwy Arms.
Hey, but that actually kind of comes back to the part with the reprogramming where he's like, and some robots believe that they are programmed that way.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Don't believe those lies. The only lies you should believe are in the Bible. I was like, yeah, I guess. Maybe that's the thing they tell people. I don't know.
Not even necessarily lies, it's just that it was written a long time ago, and people used to be really fucking stupid.
Well, no, see, there's logic to go against that. Now I'm bringing out the atheist in me. All right, so this book that was written, all written by man, correct?
It's not a great book.
Well, I'm just saying, there were no, like, divine, like, beings that came down and went, let me use my finger to tap this page, and then words will appear with fire and whatnot.
Can't have fire next to a page. It'll burn up.
Do you see what I'm talking? See, here I am. Like, this is what I'm... Yeah, exactly. Boop! Right on the fucking nose there. Like, why does anyone... Well, it was written a really long time ago. Okay, let me start writing a book now. 2,000 years from now, is that going to be a religion? I hope, because I want to be worshipped.
I doubt it.
I mean, look what happened with Scientology.
And here we are! L. Ron Hubbard! Yeah!
Well, we don't know because we can't get past chapter 1.
Yeah.
That's true, yeah.
Thank you, sir! We're getting a remote for that, and we're watching that whole fucking thing.
How about we just get a new DVD player?
Yes! Why have I gave it to you so you could just watch movies, not fucking propaganda.
I want to give them all of my money. Tom Cruise, take my money, please.
You have no money to give.
I have $90 in the bank. You're right. But please audit me.
You don't have a pot to piss in, and you want to give them the pot. What the fuck?
Well, I mean, it seems like you could really use the program.
Yeah, I need to be audited. I need Tom Cruise to tell me what I should be doing better in my life. Yeah.
Never use a therapist, apparently, or...
No, I don't know.
Are we doing pictures? We're doing pictures now. That's what we're doing. All right, we're at the end here. What happens?
No, I just like James eating popcorn.
I'm gonna wrap the actual episode up. I am going to be the one to end the episode. Well, basically, Farnsworth comes to a conclusion that he was wrong. He tells everyone to vote for Proposition Infinity, and that's what happens. But the twist at the end here,
the obvious twist.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, Bender's up to no good.
if no one saw it coming, I can't believe it.
It's like, oh wait, as soon as it becomes a matter of, oh hey, we can get married now, he's
not just married, a monogamous
yes.
marriage.
Oh yeah, which he will not abide by.
And I do love his reaction. Wait, what? Monogamous?
And then on the beach with two robot ladies.
Oh yeah, he's got two
robots.
He's got two robot sluts next to him.
And then she's at home holding the radio.
And we get
she's at that point. I feel like she's just like waiting for someone to give her some attention, and of course it's Kip.
Yeah,
but
Kip.
Kip's a fucking bad boy at this point.
Oh, no, he's not.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah,
he rolls
he
up on a
is.
fucking
Oh, give me
motorcycle.
a break.
Come on.
Look, I know you guys all
Shut
love
up, Elise.
Kip.
Stop shaking your head. No. Kip rolls up on
Are you
a
on-
fucking
You're on
motorcycle.
the same page as me?
Yeah.
Yeah, alright.
Oh, shut up.
Yeah. We're both in agreement over here. Like, that's...
No,
that's
Kip's
like,
a fucking badass.
And this song is coming from your green smushy bad boy. I'm like, oh shit, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, of
All
course
right.
Kip's coming back to save the
And
day.
it's on the top 40s pop fucking radio station too. That's the best
Wailing
part.
Fungus.
Yeah, well, shut up and love me.
Yeah, that's a terrible song, by the way.
The best part is that it's very clearly Billy West doing the radio
Yeah.
DJ
Oh,
voice.
okay.
He's doing the oh god, what's the guy who did Shaggy's voice? Who did the Wink 104 top 40?
Yeah, you're looking at
Yeah,
me
I'm
like
looking at it wrong. I thought you would know. Oh, Casey Kasem.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, he did do Shaggy. I forgot.
Casey Kasem, who also was the voice on Wink 104 for a while. This is the top 40.
Well, he did. Yeah, he did the like national.
Yeah. Well, they would pipe it in for that when I listened to the radio. That was a long time ago.
Well, and he did the. Oh no, wait, no. Who did the New Year's Rockin' Eve? Who was that?
That was Dick Clark.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
The last couple times he was basically a zombie on.
Wow, I'm dating myself.
Yeah.
No, I remember the last time he did it, and I was like, why am I watching this? I don't know.
Wait, you're like Amy dating her vibrator, or you're dating yourself?
But
I could date myself. It would be wonderful.
Yeah, you'd love that, wouldn't
I
you?
would. It would be. Myself in female form would be the perfect fucking girlfriend. I'm just saying.
I'm just picturing Dave as Mrs. Doubtfire now.
Well, he does do stupid voices all the time.
Should we have the sex now? Let's do the sex.
Wow.
We gotta wrap this episode. We've gone too far. We've gone way out there.
We're coming to that. Where the hell was Scruffy this episode?
Oh, okay. So we're still doing Where's Scruffy?
We can if you guys want to.
Scruffy didn't show up at all.
he was. Yeah. He was
Yeah.
doing this at all.
So, what do you think he was doing?
Cleaning the toilets.
The turlets.
The turlets.
No, making wine in the turlets.
Well, they don't even need to make wine. They've got the wine bot.
Hopes deleted.
So fixing Winebot.
Fixing wine bot, perhaps.
There we go. Yeah. Well, either that or he's part of the crowd at the Proposition Infinity deal.
Yeah, but we kind of saw everyone there. By the way, we fucking saw Pauly Shore and Fry's ex-girlfriend.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
I feel like if Scruffy was in that crowd, we would have seen him.
Well, better question. Do you think Scruffy is pro or anti?
Oh, he's got it. Every time we see him, he's got a magazine that says something different. I feel like if we'd seen him in this episode, it would have said Jugs 2000. And just
Well, I
been
bring
like
this up because
2 dots.
later he does have a romantic attachment to Wash Bucket.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's true. So, yeah, he's pro Proposition Infinity, I think.
Yeah, probably.
I think so.
Wash Bucket. I love you, Scruffy.
Go before I beg you to stay.
Yeah, Scruffy's just been waiting for that legislation to go through before he fucks that bucket in the boiler room.
A bucket full of dirty warm water. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
He's dipping his junk in it, basically.
Yeah.
Oh, your mop water is so wet.
All right. Okay. All right. We are officially at the end here. We've made the.
This episode rated G.
This is why we have the explicit rating.
Yeah.
Thank you very
We
much.
really earned that parental advisory on iTunes.
You know, there's one person who has to sit and listen to these episodes, and he's just going, "What the fuck, man?"
Wait, do you think anyone listens to these?
Oh yes. I actually do. I think there's one, like, they have a room full of people who have to, like, scroll through shit.
Yeah.
And when they listen, I was like, oh my god, what the fuck is going on here? I'm giving a shout out to you, what are we gonna call him? He needs a name.
PMRC guy.
What's that?
PMRC guy.
PMRC? No, we need to give him actually... Look, we had to deal with Jeff for a while, who was the guy who wrote the synopsises for...
His name is probably something like Scott.
Scott sounds good. I like it. Sorry, Scott.
No, fuck you, Scott. Yeah.
No, Scott's got to deal with our bullshit. He doesn't write synopsis. He just listens and goes, oh, I'm going to go home and weep.
All right. Are we at Slurmies?
Yes, we are.
I think we're at Slurmies.
I can't. Did I explain Slurmies?
I have an idea of what they are.
We're not making him go first. One of you assholes go first.
I'll go first.
Okay.
Oh, let me burp first. Oh, God.
Yeah, please do it a little bit more.
Right into the
Straight
mic.
into the mic.
Get it.
Straight in there.
Clearly, it was a good call for you to go first.
it was.
They'll be able to tell it's you from the smell.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully we have, in the future, maybe they're smelling it right now.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. I like it. Smells like Italian sub and french fries. All right, so this episode, I would say...
I prefer freedom fries.
I am going to smack the shit out of you.
Really?
Dude.
Because I prefer Palestinian liberation fries.
oh, shit.
I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. Let's leave it at that.
Okay, give us your fucking
I'm
Slurmy.
trying to. You guys keep interrupting me.
Keep interrupt me.
Interrupting me.
You guys are so mean.
You're so mean! Alright, so listen.
Yeah.
This is an alright episode. We're fourth episode into the seventh season. A couple episodes ago, we had someone on who was like, this is a shit season.
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily agree. I think this is restarting one of our favorite shows, and that can be seen here. It starts to get a little more dry-witted humor. Like, we're seeing a lot more, like the dumb jokes you see in this episode. We see Hedonism Bot.
Get dumped a bunch of hot dogs.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
See?
Oh, that was hilarious.
We see a bunch of other little dumb shit. Like, it's not... I'm going to say it's not, like, laugh out loud, but I definitely had a dumb grin on my face the whole time. I'd also like to comment, we have a still up right now, which no one can see. The animation is better than it has ever been at this point on Comedy Central. I like the content of the story. I think they could have done more with it, but at the same time, they were definitely pointing out something that was going on at the time and putting it. They were satires. I can't say the word.
Satirizing.
Thank you. Satirizing something that was going on at the time, and they did a decent job. But like I said, they could have went further. Overall, I'd give this 3.5.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. 3.5 Slurmies out of 5.
Yes.
All right. I feel like I just have to go next then.
Okay. All right. Are you gonna be Pooper Doodle over here and be the odd man out, the contrarian?
I don't. Well, who knows what they're gonna say? However, the funniest fucking thing that happened in this entire episode was Hermes coming down with, what was it, clownitis?
Circusitis.
Oh, circusitis?
Yes.
That was the funniest thing. Look, I get that when they probably wrote and produced this episode, it made sense for the time. Like, they should have done this episode. I'm not saying they shouldn't have, but fuck, it could have been funnier, I think, and... Poor little Kiff.
Oh my god!
I feel for the little guy.
Who fucking who?
I feel for that little bag of guts or whatever he's.
I fully agree with you.
Okay,
that
good.
little
Thank you.
cucumber.
Yeah.
all shriveled up and...
Not a cucumber where it matters.
Yeah,
Amy says.
exactly. Apparently, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like, okay, so what? For like 7-8 weeks now, 2 months-ish, we've been watching the episodes together before we do the podcast, which is sort of a new thing. Feaster, I don't know if you know, we used to record at Shady's. We had all watched the episode by ourselves and then just show up there and record the podcast. But for a couple months now, we've been watching it together and then recording the podcast. Here's what I have to say. I think it was very fucking few and far between when anybody laughed while we were watching this episode. I didn't laugh a lot, and I didn't see anybody else laughing a lot. I think the last, dozen episodes that we've watched, there was a lot more laughing out loud. This episode, I wouldn't venture to say that it's a bad episode.
He keeps looking at me, everyone.
However, I mean, yeah, there was some good jokes here and there, but I don't know. I really think this is like a 2.0. I don't think it's a good episode. I understand why they did it. They should have done it. Whatever robosexuality is symbolic of, that was in the zeitgeist at the time, and they felt the need to make an episode about it. About, obviously it's like symbolic of gay marriage, and that's good, but as far as Futurama goes and how funny this episode was, what did I say?
You said 2.
Yeah.
I'm going 2.0.
Sticking to 2?
Yeah. It's not the worst episode I've seen, but man, it's not a great episode.
You're wrong, and I hate you.
Well,
And that's okay.
Okay.
Feaster, do you want to
Yeah, I'll go ahead. I'm going to give it a 3.5 also.
Wow.
Because I felt like, for the time, I feel like this episode was probably super important. And even now, I mean, even though it's legal and that whole argument's been kind of done for a while, people still get up in arms about it for some retarded reason, and I felt like the one-off jokes were funny enough but I agree with you. At the same time, there wasn't a whole lot of LOLs going on, but I'm going completely off of the circusitis. Like, I thought that whole thing was hilarious.
Yeah, circusitis was great. Yeah. Hey, can I modify mine to 2.5? I think circusitis boosted it a little bit.
Bumped it up that 0.5.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm kind of split on this. I guess as far as it being as the message or theme of the episode, it's a little bit dated, but I guess that's to be expected since we've got near a decade of progress under our belts since this was written. So I can't really fault it for that. I still, think that it has a pretty good ethic behind it.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Humor-wise, I'm kind of on board with Mike and Feaster. It's pretty middle of the road. It's not an overtly funny episode. Like, there's and branching off of the circusitis, Hermes is probably the funniest character in this.
Yes, thank you.
Coming back.
Yes, he was fucking amazing.
And if you told me when we were going to start talking about this episode that circusitis was going to be a huge thing, I would not have believed you. But also when they are like trying to pass Proposition Infinity, it's like, yeah, you got to legalize it. It's like, all of his sidebars are like the best. It's like foyable to
I agree.
whatever
We're
else
talking
is
about
going on.
homosexual marriage.
We're talking about a lot of things, Dave.
So I'm gonna kind of I'm gonna go very center on this. I'm just gonna give this 3 Slurmies.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Is there anything else we want to bring up or talk about before we end the actual conversation about the episode?
I'm all good. I don't know if you guys have anything.
No, I think we went over as much as we could. Obviously, we got off topic as always, but it was still.
No, I think we stayed true.
Yeah, we were right on it.
Yeah,
We were good.
naturally.
Yeah. Are we gonna remember any of this?
I'm not.
Who are you?
I don't remember anything that we do.
Okay. You have anything to plug before we wrap up here?
As always, you can follow me on Instagram at DeadWolfSal.
Follow me on Twitter at Gorilla Karate.
Mike Suds on Instagram and other things. And let's see. February 2nd, Florence and Libby is playing at Little Amps on State Street in Harrisburg. And then again, February 24th, Florence and Libby is playing at the Underground Bike Shop with a band called 4 Ages. And I think there's other bands, but I can't remember.
Are you guys going to be playing at the, what is that, Riverside Blues Club again anytime?
I don't know. The sound guy hated our guts, so probably not.
Yeah, so that probably won't happen. All right,
Yeah,
I just thought I'd ask. No,
yeah.
that's fine.
Yeah, but no, I think February 2nd at Little Amps.
I mean, I wouldn't rule anything out.
They might fire that sound guy.
Feaster, you got anything you want to plug?
You want to plug anything, man?
I don't have Instagram or any of that crap, but go to Zero Day if you're ever in Midtown Harrisburg. They have fantastic beer. And if anybody's looking for a bass player, I'm decent.
You want to...
All right.
That's
You're
Mike
fired.
Feaster. He's a decent bass player.
I'll have to show you the bass that I have. So.
Is it that one right there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening. We will be back next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Off you go, apparently.